Hey Wargamers, today I want to take a moment to talk about something that jeopardizes a lot of the things that we take for granted in today's Warhammer community, whether we're talking about my channel or other channels or even Games Workshop itself. There's something going on that jeopardizes our ability to communicate with each other and really have this content that we can have our discussions and build our community around. So that thing is the European Union Copyright Directive, Article 13. So you may have heard of this, you may not have. I know being in the States, I haven't heard a lot about it until recently, but basically the EUCD is a long existing set of regulations in the European Union that basically controls how copyrights are used and enforced in the European Union. And there's a new article that's being debated about that's going to be added to the EUCD, and that is Article 13. And basically what this does is make publishers responsible for content that's put on their website in a way that places like YouTube would be liable for any copyright infringement on any video that it hosts. Now, if you consider the scale of YouTube in terms of the number of hours that are uploaded every second, that becomes a situation that is untenable for them. There's just way too much risk in that. Essentially, they would have to make sure that every second of content that's uploaded to YouTube has all of its I's dotted, all of its T's crossed, and in some cases that's simply impossible just because not all copyrights are explicitly clear as to who actually owns a copyright or something like that. So example, I write a paper, I put the paper out. That paper is my copyright, but you may not know how to contact me or anything like that. So there's a lot of uncertainty with regard to how this Article 13 would really be enforced, and so companies like YouTube would be forced to pull out of countries where the EUCD is in effect. Currently, that includes the UK, which of course is where Games Workshop is based. And so, I want to talk about what this really means for us as a community. I think we can all agree that Games Workshop has really stepped up their game over the past 5 years when it comes to community engagement, and a big part of that is producing videos and online content that we can interact with and use and learn from and engage with. And one of those platforms that they use is YouTube. So this would mean, fundamentally no Games Workshop YouTube at all, because Games Workshop is based in the UK, and it would really undermine a lot of their market share if they were not able to produce videos for their home territory or closely adjacent properties like the EU in the future. Of course, we're talking about this kind of in this in-between period where Brexit hasn't taken effect yet, so that's kind of why I'm using this uncertain language, with the UK currently being in the EU but eventually will not be, and that needs to be negotiated and everything like that. But essentially, Games Workshop would not be producing YouTube videos anymore, and that would be a huge detriment to things like painting tutorials. If you like Duncan, you kind of need him to have those YouTube videos to really do his job. Now, you could make an argument that, well, maybe they would use their own hosting server or something like that, but really that just wouldn't work in my from my perspective. Like, I don't see how they would actually go about doing that in a way that actually has all the infrastructure and support that they would normally get from YouTube or some other social media content hosting site. They would have to produce their own material and host it and everything like that, and wouldn't be able to have the same exposure or networking that YouTube or other things provide. So right away, there's a big detriment to our community there. The other big thing is that this could automatically kill off a bunch of YouTube channels in the UK and in the European Union. So, there are tons of fantastic Warhammer community-based YouTube channels. I probably don't have to name any of them for you. You probably are subscribed to a bunch of them right off the bat. And they have so many followers and everything like that. But if YouTube doesn't exist anymore, then they fundamentally can't have their channels. And that's not only unfortunate for people that like their content, but it also takes away part of the hobby and likely some income from those people as well, especially with these larger channels. If YouTube dies in the EU, that means that those people are no longer able to make a living off of YouTube anymore, or Twitch or anything else. All of these social media platforms would not be able to survive under this Article 13 implementation, as I understand it. So we're really talking about all of these social media platforms going away, and that means that the people that rely on those social media platforms for their income are not going to be able to do that anymore. It also means that people outside of the EU are going to be at a detriment as well. So obviously I'm in the States. About a third of my viewership comes from the EU, including the UK, and so I would be losing a third of my viewer base just with the implementation of this. So there are losses there as well. So overall, I just wanted to kind of talk about this and share this with you because I don't think it's gotten a lot of attention, at least in the circles that I've been watching, and it's something that really is important for people like you and me who like watching Warhammer videos on YouTube. So if you're a fan of Warhammer videos on YouTube, this is something to really keep an eye out for. I don't know what the pathway forward is. I think the basic idea of being able to enforce copyright is certainly a good idea, but there are issues with Article 13 that have direct consequences for things like YouTube. And YouTube has been vocal about this. There are constituencies that are vocal about this as well, so it's unclear what the future will hold, but it's still something that should be on your radar. If you have ideas on whether this is actually something that isn't going to be a big deal, or if you think it is a big deal and foresee a certain pathway forward, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and have a discussion on this because it seems to be something that's pretty important. So thanks for watching, and of course, happy wargaming. Hey everyone, this video was made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, consider joining our community over there. Special thanks to Errant Fox, Max Harrison, No Excuses Panda, Jared Egler, Nick Steele, Tao Oswald, Brian Mann, Jake Johnson, Scott J. Smith, Stephen Cohen, Eric Jackson, Andy M. Young, Benjamin, Giovanni DiMaggio, Julian Peck, Peter Benjamin Parker, RP, Timothy K. Piney, and Yuhai Penguin.